following is a production of cprundown.com. The views and opinions expressed by the hosts of this podcast are those of the individual and not of any affiliated companies. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Rundown on Fun, a weekly podcast covering the Six Flags Entertainment Corporation, the amusement industry, and everything to do with fun. We're your hosts, Karsten Anderson, Evan Schultz, and Kyle Hu.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the Rundown on Fun, a weekly podcast where we cover the Six Flags Entertainment Corporation, Cedar Point, and everything to do with fun. And we're back. All right, and we're back this week. I'm still coming off of the high of CoasterMania. Just got home Monday night, technically like Tuesday morning, because there was a little bit of a delay. But I'm back, ready to talk CoasterMania, ready to talk Sirens Curse, everything I experienced this weekend. Yeah, let's just jump right in.
There's a lot to talk about, and not enough minutes to talk about it.
Yeah, I feel like this is gonna be a long episode. Well, one, I want to say, we had 2 straight episodes now with all 3 of us.
I know,
Gotta
right?
be a record.
That hasn't happened in a minute.
It's been a minute. We're on episode 99, and it's probably been since like episode 50 since we've pulled that off.
Yeah, no. Congrats to everybody.
Pat ourselves on the back. So should I just get the soapbox out of the way?
I guess, yeah. I mean, the elephant is just sitting in the corner over there. And
since we last recorded, the night we last recorded, Top Thrill 2 was running great. It ran great the next day. We recorded on Wednesday last week. And then it was closed for 3 days, and the internet lost its mind.
Oh.
And now it's open again, and everything's fine.
Right.
So basically nothing happened in our world. But, man, you just can't make this up. Everybody gets to the park all excited for CoasterMania. Top Thrill 2 scheduled for evening ERT. It's going to be an absolute blast. And then you all walk into CoasterMania, walk by Top Thrill 2 after seeing it test all morning.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Not only was it scheduled, but we watched it test. I mean, and we watched it test early, too. I mean, we were in the park at like 7:15, and we stopped at Backbeat to get the little breakfast treats, and we started walking down the midway towards Millennium Force, and like we watched it test. We weren't even waiting for it. It just started testing.
At like 7:30.
Yeah.
And then a mysterious sign appeared that said, "This ride will not open today." And the internet lost its marbles.
Yeah, we'll get into it later when we talk about CoasterMania. But I started angry drinking after I saw that sign.
Yeah, it was not Kyle. That was what that made you what, 1 for 6 on trips.
One for 6 between last year and this year. 1 for 6 times that it's open.
See, if anybody follows baseball, that's not good odds.
Nope.
That is not. You are not batting.
Or maybe Kyle, like we've been joked about it, but maybe Kyle's the black cloud that comes around Cedar Point every time. It's like, oh hey, by the way, Kyle's here. Got something, something's got to happen, and close the ride down or something because he's here. Oh wait, it's not just a ride; it's going to be Top Thrill because why not?
So anyways, yeah, it was closed on Friday. Kyle went back to the park on Saturday. It was closed again on Saturday. Kyle did not go to the park on Sunday, and it was still closed on Sunday. And then on Monday it did reopen, barely. There's some weather issues and God knows what else. And since then, today and yesterday, Tuesday and Wednesday, it's been great. It's been operating great. But man, I just gotta. Why is the internet the way it is? The second that sign went up that said this ride will not open today, you would have thought it was 2024 all over again. And I mean, I get it. We have PTSD, but Lordy Jesus, guys, like everything closes for a day or two here and there. I bet y'all didn't know Maverick was closed all day Monday.
I did.
Well, you're there a lot. Y'all listening, bet y'all didn't know Monday Maverick did not operate at all. So
neither. Hey, the past few days, Windseeker hasn't operated either.
Where's all the clickbait garbage on Twitter and YouTube for that, huh?
Right.
Moral of the story is just settle down, wait for the park to say something, because if there's something to be said, like I said, if Mavericks closed for a day, they're not going to put out a statement. It's just Top Thrill 2 has a lot of attention. It was closed for 3 days. It opened on Monday. Today and yesterday, it's ran like an absolute champ. Before we started recording, I was looking. It's been closed for a total of 20 minutes today at 7 o'clock at night. So pretty much full operating day. But no, we all these people got to post clickbait garbage to try to, drum up some drama. And yeah, everything was fine. It's here. It's operating. It's running 3 trains. And, nobody wants to report on that. It's just, it's open again. And then that's the end of it. So anyways, since we recorded, it's been closed for 3 days. It's reopened. As far as this podcast is concerned, we probably didn't even need to talk about it.
Not really. I just wanted to say, jumping on with that just a smidge, kudos to Cedar Point and the team and Zamperla and whoever that is doing like inspections, like very hardcore and just making sure everything is correct. Yeah, CoasterMania is one of their Cedar Point's biggest events of the year kind of thing.
I'm sorry, Kyle. I had to laugh. That was just impeccable timing.
Yeah, but it really was.
But it just goes to show, just like last season, they obviously had to, they didn't want to have it closed all season for the most part, but safety is 100% the number one thing that the park always strives for. And so the biggest event that the park is going to have for, enthusiasts and ERT and stuff and everything. And they're like, well, crap, that sucks. And like I said, kudos to them. We don't, and what I do want to say is we're not like those pages and those channels out there that are just trying to get clickbait. Everyone was emailing us and asking us saying, hey, what's going on with the ride? And we're like, we don't know. Well, they're like, oh, we heard blah, blah, blah. And I'm not going to say it on here. You guys can look online and try to see all the speculation because it was all over.
Well, Reddit was the big one.
Right. And so everybody becomes an armchair mechanic and
everybody knows everything.
Right, exactly. And if it's closed for a week or so, then you're like, what's going on kind of thing. But you don't, I immediately jump to the conclusion like, well, it's closed for the rest of 2025. It's like, calm down. It's okay. Everyone needs to remember and always keeps forgetting is Top Thrill 2 still has gremlins, aka like the little glitches and things like that.
It's only operated for what, like 30 days total?
Right. It's still got bugs. It's still got things that it needs to figure out. And and sometimes maybe something might be happen, with the track or with a sensor or with something. And so it's still gonna have some issues. Like if you don't want to have any of these issues, visit later. Like I saw a post, someone was like, oh my gosh, like Top Thrill 2's been closed or whatever the whole entire time I was here, and that's just a bunch of crap because I booked my hotel for like 3 days, and it's like, well, maybe you shouldn't book your hotel super early in the season, like in June. I'm not trying to be that guy, but you just got to have a lot more flexibility in the beginning.
Last year it closed early in the season and I wasn't able to ride it when I went in October.
Right. I mean, it's a double-edged sword, but so I don't know. I would say give it to like late July. It's actually operating a lot better than when it was the first few weeks that it was open. Like I know that there was a lot of issues with abort launches and whatever that we could see from everything. So, but yeah, so kudos to the park and everything and whatnot. Kyle, feel free to talk about you know what? It's actually me. Never mind.
Well, before we transition to our next topic, Evan kind of brought it up that I'm kind of like the bad luck cloud with this ride, and and I can never be truly angry, right? Because it's in the name of safety. And as bad of a PR story as it is to have a ride closed for multiple days, it would be an even worse story if they kept it open and God forbid something happened, right? So I can never be angry, but. What makes this story so much more frustrating is Justin was kind enough to take me from the Detroit airport to Cedar Point. He was flying from Miami to Detroit and I was flying from Orlando to Detroit, and we were both staying at Breakers. So it just kind of worked out. And we both had our bags in hand and were ready to head for Cedar Point at like 4. And the park was open until 8. And Justin, we were at baggage claim, and he was like, what's the move? What do you want to do? You want to rush to the park? I can get us there in an hour and a half. And he's like, I don't really want to, but like I totally will because you're from out of town. So just let me know. And I was like, you know what? No, I got Friday, Saturday, like we're good. I don't need to.
Top Thrill's open.
Yeah. And then we roll up to the park and not Sirens Curse. Top Thrill 2 is just running like a champ. You know, we parked at Breakers, we're unloading our bags. It's cycle. And he was like, oh man, maybe we should just put our bags down and go and just run and deal with all this later. And I was like, yeah, maybe we should. But I don't know. We have ERT on it tomorrow. We'll have early entry. You know what? We're both tired. Let's just relax. It'll be open tomorrow. All will be good.
Famous last
words. So anyway, that's kind of my little, since everybody seems to have a soapbox, both of you, that was kind of mine.
Yeah.
Never angry, but frustrated. But anyway, yeah, Carson, let's jump into CoasterMania and we can just kind of bounce back and forth. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. So CoasterMania, obviously, Cedar Point's, like I said, big event for all of the coaster enthusiasts every single year. We arrived right at 7 a.m. We were greeted with Tony and Jordan, and they were, giving us wristbands and stuff and everything, which is really nice. Evan, you would have liked this. They had nice breakfast pastries and everything for us.
You know I'm all about the food.
Right. Over there at Backbeat, and you can get some orange juice and some coffee and some drinks and stuff or whatever. So we loaded up on that and stuff, and we headed down that midway, and we saw Top Thrill 2 just testing like a champ at 7 a.m. We were all feeling like woohoo, and then obviously later on, we saw what happened and stuff. We don't need to reminisce on that. But anyway, so I don't know, like we went to we went to go ride Millennium Force on ERT. That was fun. We also got to ride what else? We got to ride Raptor.
Raptor, everything that was on ERT in the morning, we rode once. So that is Millennium Force, Raptor, rides. Gatekeeper, Blue Streak, Valraven, Iron Dragon, and that's it. That's 6. So we did all that during morning ERT.
Yeah. It's only an hour and a half though. That's pretty darn good.
And also, before we go any farther, this is the second year in a row that I've been broken down on a ride during morning ERT at CoasterMania. That's kind of fun.
Yeah, right.
Last year we broke down on the brake run of Millennium Force, and this year we broke down on the brake run of Gatekeeper.
Yes, we did.
Kyle, just stay away from the park. I'm sick of
Yeah, he's coming back here soon, so
I'm going that weekend then.
But anyway, and then we got our awesome, cool CoasterMania shirt after all the ERT ended and stuff and whatever. It was like kind of like Sirens Curse red. It's like hard to say what kind of red it is because I take a picture and people's like, "Oh, that's red." I'm like, it's kind of like an off red. I don't know how to describe it.
Like maroon, whatever. That's
And then it's got the cool colored like CoasterMania color, like Sirens Curse color, and it says CoasterMania on it. I thought it was really cool. And then everything like Kyle, I don't know if you want to test that. Everything was very, 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 very well organized. Like everybody, there was like lines for things, but everything moved very quickly, and all the Cedar Point employees were just kind of flying through everything and doing what they were needed to do. And
yeah, I agree. And it seems, I don't know if it's true, but to me, it seemed like they might have quietly lowered attendance for CoasterMania because like it was busy, but it wasn't busy. During morning ERT on Millennium Force, it was a station wait. Like that's how ERT is supposed to be.
See, that's always been my big complaint with, I hate to say I'm complaining about CoasterMania, but like it seems like in years past, it's like, oh my God, I'm waiting down the ramp on Millennium during ERT. No, that's not what's supposed to happen. So I was happy to hear that it was ERT. The gate was open even for a little bit, and then like that's how it's supposed to go.
And then like to get our shirt pickup location this year was Point Plaza. Granted, we had to wait a little bit outside the shop, but it wasn't very far. I mean, we had our shirt in like 15 minutes.
Yeah, it wasn't bad at all. Like I thought it was.
Also, I don't know. Really I don't know if they were having tech problems or what was going on, but they weren't actually scanning the CoasterMania shirt voucher. They were just writing down your name.
Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah, that was.
Hey, whatever works.
They were so we walked in and they said, "What's your name and what size shirt do you have?" And they gave
you're like, "Oh, yeah." And then also, afterwards, we got to do the
Cruise was next, right?
The what?
The cruise was next, right?
Yeah, we got to do the cruise. The cruise was fun. It was on the Good Times, I think, one. And it was also, Kyle, you could attest to this. It got it got a little choppy when we were going out there. Like the boat was moving back and forth unless we drank way too fast.
No, I mean, I saw a couple of people like stumble and fall over who were not drinking. So it was some rough seas.
Yeah.
Well, that was just Sirens Curse,
Yeah. By the way, to just to tease Kyle, Sirens Curse like pretty much ran all day testing like crazy.
Yeah, I saw it too.
And it was just testing like like a champ as well.
Yeah, it tested all weekend and it looks great. So excited for
guess
that.
what, Kyle? It's gonna test the whole weekend you're coming back.
Oh my god, don't get me started. I'm so mad. Not mad. I'm not mad.
You're just sad.
I'm sad.
And then after we got off our cruise and everything, we had a behind the scenes photo tour of Millennium Force.
Fuzzy.
For Kyle.
For me, my memory of the day gets a little fuzzy in between the CoasterMania cruise and about an hour after dinner.
Yeah, Kyle had a little too much fun on that cruise. The cruise.
Hey,
ship.
they do booze cruise it, right?
Those that drink the bartender had or whatever, the tank slapper really slapped Kyle's tank.
Yeah.
I'm sure they were a little cheaper on the Good Time than they are. On the park too. So.
And since we're talking about this, I know that there are quite a few of you that listen to this show that came up and talked to us and said hi to us. If I wasn't very chatty, I promise I didn't blow you off on purpose. And shout out to the gentleman who let us sit with him on opening weekend at Farmhouse. You both remember him?
Yes.
He came up and said hi to us again in front of Coasters. And I was talking very loud. And I was like, I remember you. I don't know your name. I'm pretty drunk, but I remember you.
Oh my god.
So then after when Kyle was fuzzy, and I don't know what he was taking pictures of, but we had a special op to take pictures of Millennium Force. We got to go behind this, I guess behind the fences over where the petting zoo is, where you can't really go anymore. So we got to go all the way over by the train tracks. So we got some really good pictures of the first Millennium Force's first drop, and then we got to walk all the way back almost to where the big engine house, I guess you could say, where Millennium Force has its lift motor and everything. We got to take pictures there and see that and have it fly by and stuff. So that was really cool. And then what's also was really cool is we decided our first ever we decided to do like a group photo / ride takeover. Shout out to everybody that showed up. I know it was like super last minute. We're gonna do another one probably within the next few weeks. It might be maybe towards the end of the night. So I've never seen like any ride takeovers towards the end of the night. So I'm kind of curious on how this will go. It'll be on a fun ride too. Probably like maybe Millennium Force or something. We'll have to plan it and see. But anyway, shout out to everyone that came. I know it was like kind of drizzling and stuff, and then everything literally like shut down except for the flat rides. Like I was like, we were supposed to ride Iron Dragon. I was like, well, Iron Dragon's closed for just a minute. And then I look and I'm like, well, Millennium's closed. And then I was like, oh, let's go to Rougarou. Oh, that's closed too. Like, all right, well, that's fine. So then I was like, well, And then so I saw Max Air going, and then Max Air was going, and I'm like, well, let's go to Max Air. And the group was like, yeah, absolutely. Ugh. And then my dog is barking. So Kyle.
Yeah. So as Karsten was saying, while we were doing the group photo and trying to decide what ride we were going to do our ride takeover on, there was a lot down for weather. Like he said, Iron Dragon was down, Millennium was down, Rougarou was down. For some reason, Max Air was still open, and we decided to travel to Max Air as a group and ride that. So we all we gathered over at Iron Dragon, walked to Max Air, and there was a pretty good turnout. I mean, I think there was like 15 or so people there. Karsten,
I want to say something like that.
Yeah, you you played the role of dad, and you said, everybody get in line, and as they were going by, you had them count off a number, and I think we got up to about 15.
Yeah, we got 15 on Max Air. That was cool when we went up to the grouper, waited in the regular line and went up to the grouper and he's like, how many? I'm like, 15. He goes, whoa. Yeah.
It blew his mind.
Don't know if it'll ever see the light of day or if it already has, but I did record that ride for you all because I opted not to ride Max Air.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that was probably a good call.
It was.
If you not riding Max Air.
By the time you guys got up to Max Air, Iron Dragon probably reopened too.
It's possible. It was fun because literally I'm like Kyle, because and Justin, I'm like, guys, I'm like, do you see all the people that are following us? They go, Kyle's like, yeah, and Justin's like, yeah, and I'm like, those people are wanting to ride with all of us. They're wanting to take over the ride and stuff. And Kyle was just looking at butterflies or something, and Justin's like, that's awesome. I'm like,
Kyle was the kid in left field.
Yeah. Other little fun fact, I missed the group photo altogether. I'm not in it.
That is another fun fact.
So we walked up to Iron.
You were all the way at the Grand Pavilion.
We walked up to Iron Dragon to do the group photo, and I don't know what I was thinking, but we walked up, and I was like, "Oh, it's gonna be a few minutes. There's not a lot of people here. I'm gonna go get another drink." So I went to the bar at the end of like the Sirens Curse midway, and picked up a Top Throw 2 High Point, and I cracked it open, and I'm walking back. And Justin's like, picture's over. And I was like, what?
Which I do have to say, when we were, because I think I said 3:45, people are like, are you going to take the picture? I'm like, well, I didn't say it was going to start sharp, but everyone was ready for me to go to 3:45 to take the picture. I was like, we can wait just a few minutes just because, we're going to take over a ride and stuff and everything. But everyone was very on point to make sure that they were there.
Carson, you were slowing down their rides.
Except for Kyle, yeah. But anyway, so after that, again, that was really cool. We're gonna do another one in the next few weeks or so. It'll probably be around closing time, and look out for some more details on that. But so Evan, I'm not sure if you knew exactly what we were able to eat at CoasterMania, but this is exactly what we were able to eat. We were able to eat, if anyone is curious, I know Evan is. We were able to eat fresh caprese salad, traditional Caesar salad, and then for the main course, it seemed like they had they pulled out a lot of the home runs from all over the park, which was really good because a lot of people liked all the food because we saw people a lot of people getting back in line and getting more and more and more, including myself.
I mean, that's the nicest way possible, but you were at an enthusiast event.
Right, yeah. So sometimes it's not the bestest food, but it's okay. So the main course, we had backbeat barbecue pulled pork. We had Grand Pavilion, the drumsticks. We had, I'm going to probably cut these names short because they're really long. Miss Keats pulled pork and Chipotle chicken, which was really good. We also had the tortilla chips with toppings. That was also a nice little feature because it's upstairs in the Grand Pavilion. We had the lime, I cannot say the middle word, rice. Hot dogs. I know everyone was looking for hot dogs, so everyone had hot dogs. I know Justin was happy with that. We had barbecue. This was one of my favorites, and I don't know where this is at in the park, but I need to find it unless it's not in the park, but they need to put it somewhere in the park. Barbecue crispy chicken bites. Those were real good. Those were almost boneless barbecue wings.
Frontier Inn. Try Frontier Inn.
Ooh, I will have to take a peek and see that. Yeah. Sides, we were able to have the macaroni and cheese. Also Farmhouse smashed garlic, red skinned potatoes.
Oh, those are so good.
Oh, right. And then we had from Grand Pavilion the seasoned and buttered corn on the cob. And then for desserts, we had the Farmhouse apple dumpling with the cinnamon caramel drizzle. We also had Oreo parfaits and then chocolate chip cookies and sugar cookies. So all that food. So they're telling us to get in a line, and we're like, we got in a line, and they're like, everything's the same. So we got in line 2, and we're like, all right, cool. We're going through, and we're like, hey, where's the corn on the cob? Where's the other stuff? And so we found out that line 1 and 2 had 2 different different food options, right? So you had one of the food option and the other food option. So
Jesus.
I was like, oh, okay. So there was lots and lots and lots of food to go around. And plus, I mean, I probably got towards the end of the night and they still had some of those parfaits and the cookies and stuff and everything, but I was happy. It was really, really good. Um and yeah, so I mean, no complaints for me. I went back for seconds and thirds after everybody was able to eat and stuff, and got nice and full to where I don't even think I used my second meal, even though I got the breakfast in Grand Pavilion at like 9 in the morning. And then Justin and I went to the comedy show, which really, really quick. The comedy show, if you have an opportunity to see it, go see it. Uh, Justin and I saw the 21 plus, and it's recommended for 21 and older plus. For a specific reason. If you want to hear, well, welcome to in Cedar Point, and it's literally like, what? It's like, oh my gosh, every probably 5 or 6 seconds or so was like the F word. And there's also a lot of uh not inappropriate or not inappropriate jokes that were said and everything like that. I'll just leave it at that. But I thought they were absolutely hilarious. I looked over at Justin, and Justin was absolutely almost crying. He was just, it was just a good time, and he was laughing hysterically. And but yeah, definitely check out the comedy show. And then also, if you can, I think you can go on the Cedar Point's website and go check out the comedy show. Click on that and you can get like a reservation, so that way you're pretty much guaranteed like an actual seat, because I do know that it fills up quick, and then you don't have to worry about trying to be in a specific place at a specific time, and it gives you kind of like when you're supposed to be there and so on and so forth. And then after that,
I want to stop you.
Yeah.
I think you have to mention that it's a different comic each weekend.
Yes, I do apologize.
Who you saw isn't going to be there next weekend. It's a lot of local names. If you're from the Cleveland area, the Alan Cox show, that's a evening radio show. He's not one of the comics, but I saw like Bill Squire, who's on that show. He's coming. Mary Santorum, she's also on that show. She's coming. Well-known local comics that are kind of, I think, pretty, kind of up there. Maybe not nationally, but they're pretty good.
Yeah.
And others. So
yeah,
the guy you guys saw was from Parma or something, right?
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was really cool that he was like, oh yeah. And he was talking about, the Cleveland Guardians and just local stuff and whatever and everything. So he was talking about like his first date and so on and so forth. But yeah, definitely check out the page on Cedar Point's website and get more familiar with it. And like I said, if it's 21 and plus, so don't take like little junior to it, because it's going to be dirty jokes and a lot of swearing. So just keep that in mind. And it was really cool. Like, I was like, this is Cedar Point? Like, what? Like, whoa.
I've still never even been in Lusty Littles, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Palace Theater. I've never been in there.
Yeah.
Never been in there.
It's nice. And then Evan, we met up with you and Jared for just a hot second, and then we said goodbye to Kyle because Kyle didn't feel so good, and I think
Kyle
he wanted
to feeling the hangover.
he wanted to go home and at least sleep a little bit, and he ended up sleeping, I think, a lot.
Yeah.
So.
To be fair, I did not have a hangover, Evan. I was good.
Oh.
I went back.
Honestly impressed.
I went back to the hotel to just kind of lay in the dark for a little bit, because like all of the bright lights in the park were starting to mess with my head a little bit. So I went back to go lay down, and I had every intention of actually coming back in the park, and I was getting myself around to come back in for ERT, and I looked down at my phone, like I was grabbing my phone to walk out the door, and it was like 10:06. I was like, oh man. Like, I could probably go to one of the gates and probably talk my way in, but like the only thing I haven't been on that I want to ride is Vengeance, and I still have all day tomorrow, so I guess this is a sign that I'm in for the night. And then I was in for the night.
Yeah. So I will talk a little bit about the ERT, and then we'll close out this CoasterMania talk. And so we had ERT on Magnum, and then we also had ERT on Gemini, and then since I think it's because Sirens Curse was closed. They opened up Wilderness Run, and everybody, I swear to God, they said that at dinner, and everybody was getting up on top of the picnic tables and were hooting and hollering and was so excited to ride that. I don't know the obsession with that, but yeah.
Get the credit.
Right.
I'm
I
sure
feel like
all
a
you
lot of
idiots
those,
that are there have that credit.
I was gonna say, I feel like a lot of the people that are hooting and hollering already had that credit. So I was like, huh.
Oh Lord.
Okay. And then they also since Top Thrill 2 didn't open, they added Millennium Force ERT, so we had it in the morning and also at night, which is
all right.
nice.
I gotta shout out that crew.
Right.
Good Lord. That was a 18-hour day for now. Granted, I'm sure they had 2 shifts of workers, but good God. That is shout out to Millennium for sure. And Millennium was open all day, cranking trains, and you guys had like 10 rides at night, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah. And then they had ERT on Steel Vengeance and also Maverick, which was that was all the ERT and stuff and everything.
And so. Maverick was kind of a surprise because wasn't Maverick closed all day until
Maverick was closed for some kind of mechanical reason. Tony said that if maintenance was able to get it up or whatever, that was going to happen. And if not,
I even rode Maverick that night because I came up I got there like 7.
Yeah, something like that. But that was super fun and super exciting. The ERT was fun. We got to hang out with David and also Haley from the previous episode. Pretty much we hung out with them all day. And I'm just messaging them now and stuff. We also met up with a few more of our friends, and we were able to just ride the night, like we got a bunch of rides on Steel Vengeance, and then we got a bunch of rides on Maverick, and then we went over and we rode Magnum, and then also, we finished the night over on Millennium and stuff, and got, I think, 3 or 4 rides or something, like no crazy lines.
Hell of an ERT session.
That's good. We had a really, really good time. Again, shout out to the park for trying to come up with the crazy curveballs and come up with stuff and everything, and
you forgot a part.
Fun. I did.
Yeah, I'll give you a break, and I'll cover this next part that you forgot.
Okay.
Cedar Point did a phenomenal job of altering ERT schedules, making rides available. They really took care of us, and not that they owed any of us who went to CoasterMania anything, anyways. But they did give us a couple of freebies as kind of an apology for Top Thrill 2 not being up. And one of those freebies was a full day Fastlane Plus wristband, redeemable through the Cedar Point app. No blockout dates, any day between now and the end of the season. So if you went to CoasterMania and you have not redeemed that yet, personally, I'd hang on to it until Sirens Curse opens. That's what I think I'm going to do. But yeah, not a one.
Now you got to make another return trip too.
Yeah, not a single use though. A full day. And they mentioned, remember last year they gave us a single use that was good for any ride plus Top Thrill 2.
Yes.
I think that's kind of what everybody at dinner thought was going on, because Tony's like, yeah, we have a Fastlane Plus for you. It'll be in your app tomorrow. I'm not sure when. And everyone was like, oh, yay. Thank you. Thank you. And then he's like, oh, by the way, it's a full day wristband. And then the people who were up on the table for Wilderness Run, they didn't even have a chance to get back down. They stayed up on the table. And
they started doing the can.
Yeah, and everybody else got up on the table too. I mean, people were hooting and hollering and hugging each other and pumping their fists. It was crazy, man.
Tony Clark.
He didn't even have to touch the ground when he left. He was carried out by a sea of people. Everyone was so happy. And then in addition, they did also give everybody attending CoasterMania a free all-day drink wristband, all-day soft drinks.
Yep.
Nice.
So yeah, again, not something that was needed by any means, but something that's very appreciated. I know, especially for me now, who travels out of state to visit Cedar Point, a Fastlane Plus band is just going to make my day at the park that much better. So if anybody from Cedar Point is listening, thank you. It was definitely not expected, but it was a really, really nice surprise to have both of those items offered to us.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. And if you do have all season fast lane and also an all day drink plan, Tony said to share it with somebody. M- be like, hey, you bring a friend to Cedar Point and stuff, and share it with them, and then you can, share the love. So
Yeah,
it's good
absolutely.
times. I don't know. I thought this year's CoasterMania was extremely fun. And
Can I
I'm just
ask a
kind of just
question?
laid back and chill.
Yeah,
And
you can
everything.
ask a question. What's up?
Were any drink stands open during ERT?
You know what? I wasn't there. I'm gonna have to defer back to Karsten on that one.
I don't think that there were any drink stands open.
Well, then, God, son of a... Nope, CoasterMania sucked. It was awful.
You know what? Why don't you know what? I've got a thing for you, Evan. I thought about this. Would
The
you need to
contact us page on the website. I know. I already did.
No. I was gonna say if you want to drink so freaking bad, why don't you buy an all day locker, and you can put like a big cup or whatever, or a big jug or whatever of your Powerade, and then every now and again you can go over there and get a swig from it.
Yeah.
And we haven't gotten there yet. I don't know. Maybe eventually we can get to a Q&A and say,
Give me
hey,
a freestyle,
can we
man.
suggest
Give
that?
me the freestyle by Maverick.
To be fair, I don't think they have. In Q&A, we always ask about like, what's going on with the meal plan and what's going on with Top Thrill Dragster. Like, no one ever came up with said, hey, can we also possibly maybe get like drinks, at the end of the night for CoasterMania? Like, no one suggested that, so maybe that's not even a thought on anyone's
Listen, if
radar.
that's my only complaint, and I didn't even
But yeah.
attend CoasterMania. I'm not actually complaining. It's just a running joke with me. But if that's the only complaint about CoasterMania, it was a pretty damn good CoasterMania.
Yeah, it was definitely one of the better CoasterManias that I've ever attended. I will say that. It was a lot of fun.
You didn't even do nighttime ERT, so there's that.
No, I got like I said, besides Steel Vengeance, I got everything I wanted during daytime operations. Because I jumped on Maverick with you all when you rode it that evening, and yeah, I had a great time.
Speaking of a great time, Kyle, how was your Monday?
So you went back to the park on Monday.
Yeah.
Well, you went back Saturday, but that was just you were at the park. But then Monday.
So this is kind of a two-parter story. Ray likes to get the Seagull Squishmallows. Last year she won the one with the seagull with the fry in its mouth, not the plushies, but the actual Squishmallow, like the round guys. She got the one with the fry in its mouth during Boardwalk Nights. She won it at a game and she loved it. Like it's one of her favorite plushies. So every time I'm at the park, I will like send her pictures of merchandise that I see that I think she'll like to see if she wants anything. And I sent her a picture of a seagull Squishmallow that's holding a beach ball. And I got back in all caps, "Oh my God, I love him. Can I have him?" And I was like, "Sure, I'll go ahead and pick that up." Well, and then I forgot. I just totally.
This was Saturday, right?
This was Saturday. Totally slipped my mind. I forgot. So I get home, and she was like, "Do you have my Squishmallow?" And I was like, "That's what I forgot." Oh man. But me and her are going back in like 2 weeks. We'll be there on Sunday, June 22nd. And I was like, well, we can just pick it up then. And she's like, but what if they sell out? And I'm like, they're not going to sell out. Like, it's not that popular of an item. But I don't know. I went to bed that night and I was like, God damn it. What if they sell out? Like, I just need to, I just need to go back and get it. So, we were at the race. We went to the NASCAR race in Michigan on Sunday, and the race was over. We were getting ready to come home, and Karsten finds an article that Top Thrill 2 is going to reopen on Monday. And I was like, oh, fantastic. Not that I'm expecting to ride it, but I'm going to the park anyway to get the Squishmallow, so we'll see what's going on. So I had every single intention of rolling to the park for early entry, getting the Squishmallow, and turning around and leaving. So I went into I got into the park at 9:04. I made it to Pagoda at like 9:12, bought the plushie, and was ready to head back out to the car at like 9:15. And I was looking over at Top Thrill 2 for Signs of Life, and it is pouring at this point, by the way. like sideways rain, upside down rain, like any kind of rain you can think of. It's pouring. I was like, no way Top Thrill 2 is going to even be showing any signs of life in current weather conditions. But I'm going to go over there anyway. I want to see if the sign's go on. I want to see what's going on. I'm just going to go over. I'll hang out there for 15 minutes or so. I'll turn around and head out. I'm good. So I go over there, and I'm hanging out under the ride photo booth across from the entrance. Not the one at the exit, but the one across from the entrance. And there's like 3 or 4 or 5 people in line, and I'm like, these guys are crazy. It's not going to open. These guys are crazy. And sure as shit, like 9:30 on the dot, they start testing trains. And I was like, well, son of a bitch.
And the sign was gone. The this will not open today
yes,
sign was not there.
This ride will not open today. That sign was gone. So I was like, anyway, I'm standing there, and it starts testing, and I'm like, son of a, all right, well, I'm getting in line. Like, there's only 4 people in line. I'm gonna be number 5. I'm getting in line. And I don't know. I was fully expecting at a certain point to just walk away. Like, I was by myself. I wasn't with anybody. It was raining. I was like, I know exactly what's going to happen. I'm going to stand over there for 10 minutes. I'm going to get bored, and I'm going to leave. And everyone around me is going to think I'm crazy, but whatever. Like, I got a flight to catch. And
what time was that flight?
So my original flight was scheduled for 4 p.m. out of Detroit. And I still had to go back to Tiffin, where my parents live, to catch my ride to the airport. So my hard out time was like 11:30 at the absolute latest. Like, if I'm going to stretch it, I have to be in the car heading down the causeway at 11:30, or I'm not going to make it. Like, And Top Thrill 2 is just testing. And I'm like, well, testing doesn't mean anything. I watched him test on Friday. Doesn't mean anything. And then they start doing their opening procedures. And the way I know that these were opening procedures is because I got to watch them on opening day.
Oh, God.
So I know.
In the rain also.
Also in the rain. But this was harder rain, though. This was like, this was bad rain. I was like, man, they're doing opening procedures. They're trying. God, you know what? I'm going to ride it out at this point. I'm going to take up every minute of that 11:30 hard out time that I can to try to get on this thing. And we're standing there, testing. That's the theme of the day. And the entrance greeter comes out. And at this point, a line of it's probably like 10:01. And a line of probably like 50 people have amassed outside the entrance. Like, not a ton. And the entrance greeter came out, and he's like, hey, everybody, how's it going? Everybody hanging in there? Yeah, we're hanging in there. Well, just wanted to let you guys know that we're going to have a delayed opening today. As you know, when park opens at 10, it's 10:01, and we're not open. So I'm sure you could have figured that out, but I don't want to keep anybody out here in the miserable rain expecting this thing to open right now. I'm telling you right now, it's not going to open like right this moment. He's like, we're shooting for 10:30 or 11. Like, that's our goal, is 10:30 or 11. And I asked him too. I was like, hey, you don't have to tell me, because I'm sure you get this question a lot, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Right now, is the issue that you're still testing and the ride can't operate in this level of rain, or is it just like it was raining and you got a late start? And he's like, we can operate right now. Like, this level of rain is fine. There's no lightning. We can operate. We just got a late start. And I was like, okay, I respect that. Thank you for,
transparency.
Thank you for transparency. It goes a long way with me. So then, like, 11:10 rolls around, and I'm like, you know what? Even if this thing opens right now, I'm not getting on it before 11:30. Let me just go in the app and see what other flights are available. I'm committed. I didn't get a ride this weekend. I really wanted a ride. I'm here.
You're standing there in the pouring rain with this poor Squishmallow.
Standing here. Oh, I double bagged that thing, by the way. They asked me.
Smart.
They asked me in the gift shop. They're like, "Do you want a bag?" And I said, 2, please, 2. And it was raining so much that the ink was running off the bag, and my hand was like blue. It looked like I was sick. But anyway, so I go in and I move my flight to 8:00, and and I know some of you are probably thinking, oh, your flight was at 4. Why do you need to be gone by 11:30? Well, my parents live about an hour away from Cedar Point, and we live about 2 hours away from the Detroit airport. So, you got to get there like 2 hours early. So that's why there's such a long lead time. So I'm like, okay, we have to leave for the airport at 4. My hard out time is now like 3 at the absolute latest. And they're testing, and then just stops. Everything stops. No movement for like an hour. No update, no movement, nothing. Just, I think it was Blue Train sitting on the launch and nothing going on. And I was like, well, this is not great. Like my chances of riding this thing just went from pretty darn good to a little shaky. If I'm being honest, a little shaky at best. And there was a gentleman in front of me, a younger gentleman. He was probably in his like late teens, and he was with his mom, and his mom was wearing a Coaster Stock 2025 t-shirt. So I'm like, they know what's going on. And his mom, for whatever reason, was not riding. She either didn't want to ride or something was going on, but she was over at the grandstands. And about every 5 minutes, she'd come back and check on her son, and basically like, you doing okay? Here's what I know. Here's what I can see, blah, blah. So I overhear that the ride is down, which was, I could kind of put 2 and 2 together that something happened because they just stopped testing. In addition to the ride being down, they have pulled Black Train from service. So it's just 2 trains right now. And finally, ride starts cycling again. And Blue Train, which was on the launch, they do the first launch, all good. Second launch, all good. They abort launch on the third. It made it like halfway up the tower, and then they got to reset and start testing again. So finally, like 20 minutes after that point, I was able to figure out that they did indeed pull Black Train from service, and it's sitting on the transfer track. So some more time goes by, testing. Finally, at probably about 1:30, Silver Train, I think it was Silver. Silver Train goes by, and there's a ride op in like row 5. And the crowd, which up until that point was wet, cranky, and ready to turn at a moment's notice, just erupt. Like, people were getting mad. People were like, I don't know what's going on. They won't tell us anything. I've been out here for 4 hours. I'm cold. I'm wet. Like, and it wasn't just like one person. Like, everybody was getting that way. And then people in the fast lane line started bailing, and then people were like not cutting, but like wiggling in between the fast lane and the regular to ask people questions, like the ride ops. Mm-hmm. And then people in line thought that those people were cutting. Like, it was about to turn bad. Let me tell you what, I've never heard more thunderous applause in my entire life than when that train went by with a ride operator on it. Everybody just lost their minds. It was, I mean,
that's how you know you were with a bunch of enthusiasts too, because nobody knows that means anything besides enthusiasts.
Everybody just lost their minds. They were going crazy. And then after they cycled once with the op, nothing happened for like 15 minutes. And we're like, what's going on? Did the ride go down again? Do we need to test again? Are we good? What's going on? And then finally, like, no phone call, no nothing. Some random employee walked up and whispered something to the entrance greeter, and then the entrance greeter was like, all right, ride's open, go. And it was like a mad dash. So like I said, I was like the 5th person in line. Well, there were probably about 40 people in the fast lane line who were more prepared than I was, even though I had plenty of time to prepare. They had nothing in their pockets and did not need to stop at the locker. I, on the other hand, needed to stop at the locker, so I lost some ground getting to the actual ride. So finally, I'm feeling good. I'm like hustling. I got in. I got through metal detectors. I'm like hustling down the queue, and I get up to the station. First train of the day is just rolling out of the station as I'm walking up. Second train is already full. I'm queued up for third. First train goes up, down, over, goes off without a hitch. Second train, I didn't see this because I was closer to the back, and you can't see the top hat super well. But I heard, oh, like people, cheering that it made it over, and I was like,
it was close.
I was like, what's going on? Why are we cheering? Did it almost not make it? Like, what's going on? And that train hit the brake run, and then the very dreaded, attention riders, we are experiencing an operational delay.
Oh my God. You were next to the line.
I was next in line. I was literally at the air gates. And and that crowd that was about to turn, that then got very happy. Well, now we're back to we're about to turn again. Everyone's real upset. So I don't know what the downtime was. They never really told us. Not that they would tell us anyway, but like sometimes visiting this park as much as we do, we can kind of know what's going on. I had no idea what was going on. They never actually stopped cycling trains. Like there was maybe like a 3-minute pause in operations, and then they got a silver train out of the station. They sent that so that blue train could advance to unload, and they let everybody off. And then they played a spiel that said, although trains are moving, we've not determined the cause of this downtime. Maintenance is on their way to assess the situation. But then they just never stopped cycling trains. And at this point, keep in mind that the ride is still operating with 2 trains, silver and blue. And eventually, after like 15 test cycles, they transferred black train back on the tracks. So now we're back up to 3 trains. And then that was it. And then they reopened the ride. So
I got nothing.
Don't know what the issue was, but my ride was on black train, so that was pretty cool.
Oh, you were the test dummy.
Yeah, I was the test dummy. Yeah, I was a little surprised that they didn't test it, but I guess they didn't need to. I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, all in all, from getting in line to getting off the ride was about 15 minutes shy of 5 hours.
Oh my God.
So
well, you are now 2 for 8 in your visits.
So needless to say, I had a day on Monday, and you know what? It was totally worth it.
Good.
It was so much fun. I echo everything I said the first time I rode it. That is just an out-of-body experience. It's insane. One of the best rides out there. And then I took some pictures and some videos for Karsten. And then he was now coming into the park as I'm now hustling out of the park because it's like 2:30 and I still got to get back to Tiffin and pack. So like I'm walking with a little bit of a pep in my step. And we went ahead and we passed each other at the carousel. I gave him a high five and then he went in. So I'll let him take the rest of Monday because those are my shenanigans. Went to the park, didn't plan on riding. Ride started testing, still didn't plan on riding. Then got in line. Still not planning on riding, and then was like, you know what? I'm here. I'm doing it. Let's go.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, so I walked over to Top Thrill and was like, oh, there's only a 15-minute wait line for fast lane. So I was like, okay. So I scan, my single-use fast lane that I get with having the Prestige pass. And I get right off of it. No issues whatsoever. So I'm like, Kyle, the black cloud left and everything was great.
I'm saying.
The ride did seem to have some issues that day. So on later in the day, I decided to I have not disclosed any of this. Currently, I'm at 2 rollbacks on Top Thrill, where literally it's supposed to make it over the top hat and it didn't make it over the top hat, right? So I got on the train and so we launched and the launch lights go boom, it goes boom, and then boop, 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 boop. And we literally stayed still. I'm like, that's interesting. I'm like, okay, well, maybe we just need to reset. I'm like, okay, so then they reset, boom again, and then the lights go, and then we win. I'm like, okay, so we go up the first the first launch, whatever, and then we go backwards and everything seems normal, going all the way up the tower, woohoo, yay, awesome, and then going through the third launch, and then all of a sudden it's like we're going, we're going again. So I was like, I was like an aborted launch.
You already knew you ain't gonna make it.
Yeah. So there's 2 types of different rollbacks on this, at least that I've experienced. There's one where it tries to make it over, like it fully launches over and it's just too cold or wind or whatever, and it barely makes it over, and then it just comes right back down. This one was new for me, to where it was like almost like an abort launch. So the past two ones were almost rollbacks, or were almost over, but not rollbacks. But this one was like an abort launch. It felt like, to where I felt it going, and then you could feel like, oh, we missed something there, and then literally it just kind of like went all the way. I'd say almost 3/4 the way up the hill, and then back down, and then it slow crawls because it doesn't have any of the brakes that can go down or anything like Top Thrill Dragster did. I did get some rollbacks on Top Thrill Dragster, but that's a different story. And I will share about that just a smidge at the end. And then, so you're rolling back down, but maybe at like 1 miles an hour, and people in the queue are like, "Why'd you break the ride? You guys broke the ride." We're like, "Sorry, we're not." So we're rolling back. And then, so this is what's interesting is, so like you would think you would like roll back into like either the launch position and pause there, or we would roll back into the switch track, to where it's like where you would kind of like pause before going on the launch track. It still stays locked in, and I'm assuming it would probably want to do that just in case like something fumbles and it doesn't switch back in time, and then the train just kind of rolls back the way that it shouldn't have gone. I don't know. Anyway, so you roll back the launch position, and then you roll all the way back into where pretty much where you're even with the train, but you're on the launch side of the track. So you're pretty much right before you start crusting the spike tower in the back. So we're sitting there and everything, and we're just like, just sitting here waiting, probably like good 10-15 minutes and stuff. Attention riders, this ride is, the whole 9 yards and everything. So then, I swear to God, I cannot make this up. I don't know. I can never, I don't think anyone's ever going to get this credit. It's kind of crazy. And you'll have to believe me at my word, because there was no friends around me. I was just running by myself. I'm literally just sitting in the train. All of a sudden, a bird, like a small bird, not a baby bird, but a small bird, lands pretty much on my lap. And I go,
"You guys were sitting still for so long."
We're sitting still. And I was like, and he's just like, me, just, chirping and everything. I'm like, what in the, I'm riding with a kid that's like freaking out because we rolled back, and he's asking like a million questions. Love the kid, but he's like, "What's going on? Is it rollback normal? Are we okay? Is it safe?" I'm like, "It's fine. It's okay. The ride's doing what's supposed to do. It's okay. Like, we're gonna get reset, and we're gonna launch."
Like, I have bird.
And then I was like, "I have birds, literally," and I'm like, literally like pointing down. He goes, "Wait, why is the bird on you?" I'm like, "I don't know." And he's like, and so the people behind me they're like, "Oh yeah, that bird like landed on the train and was hanging out. Now he's on your lap." And I'm like, I guess. And so I'm like, I do it with anybody would want to do is like, "Oh my God, is he gonna let me pet him?" So I put my arm down really, really close to him. He doesn't fly away. And I start petting the bird. And I'm on Top Thrill 2 on a rollback train, literally sitting, petting a small bird. And I'm like, and he's just chirping, just having the day of his life. And I'm just like, what in the is going on?
So I'm like, all right, with me, buddy.
Well, that's the thing is, I'm like, I don't want you to ride. So I'm like, all right, buddy, go shoot. And he's like grabbing on, not wanting to leave. And I'm like, all right, well, this bird's going to die if we like, we launch at 100 miles an hour. Like, this is going to be bad. So then I'm like, I don't know. So then I was able to finally shoo him off my hand, and the fricker literally goes down almost inside the train, and I'm like, oh, this, and he's just cheep, and because you could tell he's like nervous and scared, and I'm like, oh God, this is gonna and the boy saw the bird, and he goes, oh my God, he starts crying. I'm like, it's fine, the bird, and he's like, why is he chirping like that? I'm like, he's fine, he's just talking, it's fine, nothing's gonna happen, it's okay. It's okay. He's like, you killed the baby bird. I'm like, no, I didn't. It's fine. Everything's okay. So then I'm like, oh my God. So then there's a one of the ride ops for the ride comes over and goes, hey guys, everything okay? I'm like, yeah, everything's fine. Everything's great. And then so then after that, they're like, attention riders, trains will be moving immediately. I'm like, oh frick. So then all of a sudden, like the bird, I don't know, like got startled or something, and I'm like, I don't know if he like got his wits back in him or something or whatever. But then all of a sudden, oh god, and then all of a sudden, he jumps up on top of the restraint. I'm like, not this again. And then he flies away and flies over by where the station track is or whatever. And he was fine. Okay. He was safe. He was good. I was like, thank God I didn't kill the baby bird or the small bird. And he's chirping and having a good time and just watching us. I'm like, I guess maybe he wanted to ride. I don't know. Well, anyway, so finally, it's really interesting because like I don't think there's any drive wheels where we were at. So they have to use like a very low low power mode on the stators, where you kind of move up real slowly, and then so you move up real slowly, and then we went up to the launch, and then we launched, and then we went through again, and we made it over, and it was great and everything, and the ride opened back up, and we had a crazy cheers when we rolled into the station and stuff, because that people didn't know that it was testing, and then so we went. So the rollback, it's fun. I was talking to Justin about this last night. Now, the previous ones where they don't make it over the top and you don't know if you're going to make it over the top, I think those are the best rollbacks. The ones where you kind of get abort launched kind of thing, and you make it like maybe 80% up over. And as soon as like that happened, I literally turned over to the little boy and goes, "Oh, by the way, we're not making it over." He goes, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, we're not making it over. We're getting a rollback." I'm like, "That's rollback number 3 for me." And he goes, "What?" I'm like, "Just hang on a second. We're gonna start rolling back." And then we obviously rolled back. I like I guess I like the version where it's like you don't know, and it's just kind of like, oh, you didn't make it over the top kind of thing. So there's a few different rollbacks and stuff, which is interesting. And then like if you don't make it over the top and you literally go almost like 95% of the way, but you roll all the way back, the ones where pretty much what Top Fuel Dragster used to do, which were my faves, because you're launched at like a crazy amount of speed, and you're like, I don't even know. All of a sudden, you're like, whoa, I didn't make it. Anyway, you roll back pretty much, and you go rolling up the spike tower just a smidge, and then you kind of like find yourself like almost sitting in that same spot where it pretty much restarts and resets and everything. But yeah, fun story. I don't think anybody is ever going to have I pet a baby bird on Top Thrill 2 story. Well, I was sitting on it. So yeah, that's pretty crazy. But yeah, I don't, Evan and Kyle, I'm not sure if you guys have any questions or anything, or I know I was supposed to ride with one of my friends, and she had a dip. And then I called her, and she was extremely jealous that she wasn't able to participate on that rollback with me.
Oops. Oh well.
But yeah, I know next week we've got a huge show. Well, not next week. The next time we record is going to be
show is.
Yeah, 100th episode that we're going to talk about Sirens Curse, and then also we're going to talk about Epic Universe, because I'm finally going to be able to visit and share my thoughts and everything. But Evan, you want to share a little bit more about that?
I guess Sirens Curse opens the charity rides are 2 weeks from tomorrow as we record. So our next episode will either be like, hey, Sirens Curse opens like tomorrow, or it'll be post Sirens Curse. We wrote it and everything was amazing and it was so fun. And then also we'll have Karsten's Epic Universe trip report.
Yeah.
That'll be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to hearing that. I'm the last of the three of us to make it to Epic Universe, but that's okay. This means I'll get the best experience, because it'll be like, really running by then.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, our next episode, whatever the content of it will be, is our 100th. So that's super exciting.
That is exciting. I never thought we'd get to 100 episodes, so that's really cool to reach that milestone. I'm not sure. I know Kyle and I started this fever dream of, hey, you want to start a podcast? And I'm like, yeah.
And then I was like, hey, can I do it too?
Yeah. And I'm like, dude, I've been thinking about doing a podcast for years and just never had I guess the staff / the input and everything that Kyle does and everything, and the smarts to do everything behind the scenes that Kyle does. But I'm excited.
Yeah, it's taken what, almost 3 years to get there. I mean, have we hit the 3-year mark yet?
I think we did in
right around
opening time. Right around this time, yeah.
Right around this time.
I feel like if we haven't, we're close. I'll go back and look. But I have a bonus story to share.
Oh, yeah.
And if we ever get a Patreon, this is the kind of stuff that will be on Patreon, like the behind the scenes.
This is a good one. Yeah.
So I don't know about you two, but okay, real quick. By the way, our 3-year was yesterday, June 10th.
Oh, nice.
June 10th.
Happy 3 years to us.
So
woohoo.
Anyway, I am not a fan of the basketballs at the theme park. You know, like when you go up and you play the game and you win a basketball and they give it to you fully inflated and then you're carrying it all day and kids are bouncing it and being annoying. I'm not a huge fan of that. So we were walking on the Frontier Trail on Friday night. And at this point, Evan, you were with us. Jared was with us. Hannah was with us. Justin was there. I mean, we had a pretty sizable crew, and I'm still feeling pretty good at this point. You know, as we talked about, I had some adult beverages, and I was still feeling pretty good. And I see this kid walking down the midway. We're like in between, in the middle of the barnyard, right? Like on the midway. Like we're like directly across from where Frontier Fling used to be.
Yeah. And
I see this kid, and he's bouncing the ball really high. Like he's jumping and throwing all of his weight into it and bouncing it really high. And he probably does it about 4 or 5 times. And we get to the point where we pass the kid, like we're up to the kid, and I said, hey, come here. He's like, hey, what's up? And I was like, I have a $20 bill in my wallet. And I'm a bit of an instigator at parks. I like to get people riled up, you know? So I told the kid, I was like, I have a $20 bill in my wallet for you if you can bounce it high enough to hit the top of that tree. And I pointed at the tree, and it was probably like a good 60, 65 feet.
He wasn't going to be able to do it.
Yeah,
it wasn't close.
Secretly, I wasn't aware of this kid's bouncing capabilities, but secretly I was hoping that he would just whiff, and it'd be really funny. And so anyway, this kid, instead of bouncing it, he just throws an absolute haymaker. He winds up and he does
missing a beat.
Without missing a beat. There's no other interaction between the two of us other than, hey, I got a $20 bill if you can hit the top of that tree. No hesitation, no sizing it up. No, he's just like, all right, bet, and just whiffs this thing. He overhand throws it as hard as he can, and he didn't even come close, man. He was like 40 feet off. And it went sailing into the woods. It was gone. And as fast as this kid appeared, he dipped out of there after he threw that basket. I think he thought he was going to get in trouble or something. And he definitely wasn't going for it, because where it landed was like a restricted area. Like it was like where we almost where we were for CoasterMania, like for the Millennium Tour that day. And as fast as he appeared, he dipped. And again, we didn't have any other words exchanged other than, I got a $20 bill in it for you if you can hit the top of that tree. After he whiffed, he didn't say anything. He just ran away.
Because you expected him to try to bounce it. It would go straight up and stay on the path.
Yeah. So he whiffed, and then he bailed. And then that was the end of the encounter.
That was a complete fever dream.
And oh, you think it was a fever dream for you? You were sober. It took me until we hit like Wave Swinger before I was like, wait a minute, did that just happen?
I was like a little ahead of you, and I heard the interaction, but I didn't stop walking.
Yeah.
I just turned around, and all I see is a basketball go yeet.
Yeah, I literally adding on to it, because I was like, I just saw this kid just like bouncing the ball with all of his might and catching it, and then I was like, oh, that's cool. And then Kyle just out of the whim is just like, hey, I got $20 if you. And he just didn't say nothing to nobody. He's like, I got $20 if you can hit that tree limb up there.
Yeah, Kyle didn't have any sort of like, hey guys, watch this.
Right. That was just it was just that. I was just like, what?
The other fun part of this story is I didn't have any money in my wallet at all. I don't carry cash like ever. So I had nothing. Even if he did hit it.
What if he did hit the top?
If he did hit it, I was gonna like Venmo him or Cash App him or something. And if he's like, "Oh, I don't have that," then I'd have been like, "All right, well, let's go to I'll go buy you dinner." So, I would have made it right.
Yeah.
But I didn't have cash to give him. On the off chance he hit it, I didn't have cash.
Oh my god.
Oh my. We were crying on the midway when this happened.
I almost hit the ground. I was laughing so hard
because it was so random. It was like we were just talking, all of us in a group, and Kyle's like, "Hey, I'll give you $20 if you get that tree branch up there." And we all turn out like, "What?" And this kid's like all gun to mighty, and literally, but didn't even no windups, no nothing. It's just
And I gotta say, not only did the kid not even hesitate, it was a terrible throw.
It was bad.
This throw, he was bouncing the ball higher than he threw the ball.
Yeah.
And he didn't try to go for it either. He got out of that situation quick.
It was like a fart in the wind. It was literally just like, well, okay.
His parents probably like, where the hell did the basketball go?
Yeah,
He's like, I don't know.
We spent $40 for you to win that damn thing. Where'd it go?
That's all right. Justin would have won him another basketball.
Oh my god.
Anyway, now that we're 100 episodes in, if we ever do get a Patreon, that's the kind of stuff that we're going to talk about. But I just thought, if this has been a long episode, and if you've listened all the way through, I think you deserved to hear that story. That's why I wanted to tell it.
That's perfect. Kyle, let's end this this shindig and
all right,
get on to episode number 100.
We will see you guys whenever we record next, and that will be episode number 100. I'm still recovering from CoasterMania, so that's all I have.
Yep. Can't wait for 100. Also, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. That's on Sunday.
And make sure you share this podcast with all of your friends and rate us on all of the podcast episodes. And we really like meeting up with you guys, so see you guys in the park.
Thanks for tuning in to the Rundown on Fun. Don't forget to follow us on social media for all the latest updates from Six Flags Entertainment. And remember, always be kind to your ride operators. See you soon.